Tim Cook is teasing us with this Apple launch on X. Okay, this was unexpected, but while we've all been gaslit by Mark Gurman saying that we'd be getting the iPhone SE this week, Tim Cook dropped a teaser that next Wednesday we should be ready to meet the newest member of the family. So what the f*** is going on? There's more to unpack here than you might think as well. There's maybe even more clues than usual. That being said, last year when Apple dropped the surprise event in May, a thing that never happens, they did stick an Apple Pencil in that graphic, so not so subtly nodding to the iPad Pro M4 and its redesign along with the Apple Pencil Pro. So is Apple getting less cryptic? Let's take the actual words from that tweet. Get ready to meet the newest member of the family. #Apple launch. Maybe there's more clues in here than people think. So first of all, the most likely, if it's just the iPhone SE, which we're already expecting, and as Mark Gurman seems to believe, I can only assume it will be getting at least new branding, perhaps without the SE name. An update like that would otherwise not likely be considered a new member of the family or a launch, in my opinion. So we've heard rumours about the iPhone 16e, which we covered in a video a few weeks back. Could the handset be named something like that and be pitched more at kids, perhaps? That might maybe fit the family aspect that Tim's mentioned in the tweet. All the evidence, though, that we've seen so far in terms of the leaks basically says it's going to look very much like the iPhone 14, but with a single 48-megapixel camera, the notch, Face ID, and that's a pretty compelling deal if it stays under the $500 mark. If it is a successor to the iPhone SE, that's probably the least exciting thing. But yeah, it's probably this. Maybe with a plastic back instead of a glass one. Maybe that'd fit in with the Apple Watch SE that we've been hearing about. I don't know. But yeah, it's probably that. Now, let's have some more fun with what it might be, but probably isn't. Now, this is very much my own out of left field idea, and we'll get back to some more realistic stuff after this, but hear me out. TikTok. Don't click away just yet. I don't think it's that likely, but it is possible and it might actually make a lot more sense than you'd think. First, obviously TikTok is at risk of being removed in the US if it continues to be owned by a Chinese company. Whether that's right or wrong is not what we're talking about here, it's just the situation right now. I also think it's not a great idea to give Elon Musk any more control over any more social media platforms, if only from a monopoly point of view. But for Apple, it might be a really good fit. The music within the app would be able to link to the songs within Apple Music itself, and Apple Music is famously not as good as other platforms like Spotify in terms of discovery of new music. So it could be a good way to fix that. And Apple can afford it, let's be real. So maybe, but probably not. Apple has tried to do social media stuff in the past, but they've been horrendously bad at it. Back to Timmy's tweet, and there is a circle in it, so people have decided it might just be the next generation of AirTag. I mean, mysterious tweet a week out for a second generation of a very useful but also pretty boring product refresh seems like a bit much to me. I mean, do a press release for it, sure, drop it into another event. Drop it into another event as a little seasoning. Why not? But other than you can find it from a bit further away and we made it so people can't easily break the speaker to follow people, there's not a huge amount of new features that we're expecting here. It doesn't fit the family thing. There has been a lot of talk about the new Vision Pro getting some... Nope. Now, there has been a lot of talk about the Vision Pro getting some press release briefings this week, and Apple adding support for PlayStation VR hand controllers, maybe going to other retailers. But Apple also has patents for AirTags being used as motion control points too. So perhaps that would be a thing, but you'd also have to attach a bunch of them to your body, so probably not. But here's the one that I think might fit the clues the best, even if it's not as likely as the iPhone SE. Apple's Home Hub. Now, the general rumours have suggested that this is going to be launched this year by Apple, but not necessarily right now. Supply chain hasn't indicated that it's ready to go, so maybe we shouldn't get too excited for this just yet. Maybe it's coming out in a couple of months. But here's why it fits. It's supposed to be something like a lower cost iPad display, fairly square and around 7 inches, and would allow you to control your HomeKit devices, make FaceTime calls, and browse the web. Something that is designed to stay and live in your home certainly feels more like a new member of the family to me, which would fit nicely with Tim's tweet. And The other thing that makes me question the idea that this event is for an updated iPhone SE is that Apple launch as a hashtag is not a term that Apple has used before. It's always been Apple event. That and the newest member of the family thing doesn't suggest a line refresh for a budget phone to me. But Launchpad does sound like what Apple could call a little panel that lives in your home to control your devices like an iPad. Now, I know that Launchpad is also the name being used for the iOS style icons that open up on a Mac, but Apple doesn't seem that opposed to reusing names these days, and perhaps that's very much how the interface would look on a device like this, with all of those apps just springing out from the bottom. We don't have long to wait to find out, so let me know what you think we'll see next week down in the comments. Editor Dave here. One last thought. Pixelmator was added to the Apple family recently. They basically just did a whole thing where when you update the app, it now tells you that it's part of Apple. Maybe it's going to get renamed next week, or there's going to be some kind of thing where Apple recreates it or relaunches it. Maybe it becomes free. I don't know. Just thought about this as I was editing and thought it was worth dropping in. Are you with me, or do you think, as is probably more likely, that the newest member of the family is just a cheaper iPhone? Thanks as always to my very, very attractive Patreons, and we'll see you in the next one. Want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours? Subscribe and ring the bell. Stop teasing us, Tim.